Okay, cellos, we're going to talk through a little bit of In the Hall of the Mountain King. First thing at measure 3. In that section, at 7, at 11, most of the notes are in first position, except for when you have a G sharp or a D sharp. And for that section, you just take that first finger and stretch it back. So it's in half position or just a low 1, however you want to think about it. So specifically looking at measure 7 and 8, we start in first position, then that first finger goes back for the D sharp. But what you have to make sure you do is stretch really big up to your third finger, because your third finger is still on the tape for B. Then an open D and a B flat 2. Then back in regular first position. At 15, you have extended 2 and extended 4 in that first measure. So 1, stretch your second finger up for the F sharp. Keep that 4 stretched. In the next measure, you can see on the C, it has a 1. You're just taking your first finger and you're moving it from the B up to the C. That way, when you play the G sharp, it's right there. You don't have to stretch. So in measure 15, this is our hand position, reaching from the 1 to the extended 4. And in measure 16, bring that first finger up a half step for the C, and that way you don't have to reach, but you just have to reach back for the B at the end of the measure. So measure 15, slowly stretch, move that first finger up, then move it back. Then that repeats. Move up, move back. Everything else is repetitive here. At 27, we have those E's. So you put your second finger on your tape, your first finger tape. So we're in half position and you're just playing 2, 1, 2 very quickly. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2. Rest. Then you just have to move back up 4, 3, 4 for the G to the F sharp, and then that repeats again at 31. At 43, this is where we start on the C string and we play 3, 2, 3. The measure before 47, so measure 46, I have it in third position, 2, 1, 2. You want to make sure your second finger is on that tape up in fourth position, and your 1 is right behind it. You can check with your open G to make sure that that second finger is in tune. If you want, you can just put a fourth finger there and do 4, 3, 4, which would put you in second position. So your options here in measure 46 are to move up, put your second finger on the tape in fourth position with the 1 right behind it. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Or if that's a little too hard for you to get to, you can just shift to second position, put your fourth finger on that tape with your third finger behind it. Then in 47, we just carefully have to count here. You're repeating these half position trills on beats 1 and 3, but you only do that for 2 full measures. After that, you have to be ready for those quarter notes with no rest. So at 47, we have 1, rest, 1, rest, 1, rest, 1, rest, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those quarter notes should be accented, they should be very heavy, and they should be very separate. We're crescendoing up to a forte there, so it's okay if your tone isn't perfectly clear and if it's a little messy, because this is where it's supposed to start getting a little intense. Now at 51 is where we have the double stops. So yes, you're playing both those notes. At 51, to play the 1 and the 1, just bar your finger. So just put it straight across both strings. And then the next one, you want to make sure you're just hitting that E on the D string because it's with an open A. The next measure is just the G string, then an F sharp, so third finger with A, then an F natural. Then this repeats. Then your bottom 2 strings, on the top you have a first finger on D and a second finger on A. At 55, that just repeats again. At 59, this is where we just have to be careful in counting. You're coming off of quarter notes, so make sure you're counting your quarter notes carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4. At 59, it becomes eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do not rush. Do not go with the first violins. They're playing 16th notes here. So at 59, you're more with the seconds or the violas. That next note is the E, which is that next tape up above first position. So again, here, let me just show you. At 59, we start in first position, first finger. The E that we're going for is that shift to second position. And so that next tape up, and you'll put your fourth finger there, and then just go back into first position with your first finger. Everything else is mostly just making sure we're not rushing, we're counting very carefully, but there's no more position after that. So hope this helped.